Roll.
Right.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on any smart device at David G. Evans, the number one. That's at David G. Evans, the number one. Won't you please do us a favor, like us, subscribe to us, hit that notification button so you'll know every time the On Point conversation is on the air. We also want to invite you to invite those in your flow to join us this morning and every Saturday morning as we talk about politics and faith and culture and sports and try to keep you abreast of those major events that are happening worldwide, in your state, in our country, internationally, that can impact your life. We need that kingdom perspective, that biblical perspective, understanding the times and knowing exactly what to do. And this is what On Point is all about. We have callers from around the country, and we look forward to you being one of our first-time callers today if you've never called before, but our repeat callers will be calling us this morning as we talk about those things, that hot topics that a lot of people may shy away from, but we delve into them because we're coming from a faith perspective, a kingdom perspective. Of course, joining us once again is my world-famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas A. Smith. Hey, man.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How you doing?
All right. Now, you can give us a call at 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267 from anywhere you're located. 866-743-8267. We look forward to talking to you in this next 58 minutes as we discuss those things which I believe are close to your heart, but also those things that impact your life. A lot going on this week.
Yeah.
The political scene seems to be the same except for the Israel-Palestine conflict. What's really been bugging me this week, and it probably shouldn't, but it did. I'm a little, not little disappointed. I was shocked at University of Pennsylvania's president, Harvard's president, and MIT's president as they tried to mealy-mouth their way around something that I believe was a call for their strong leadership in that point.
Mm-hmm.
I get the impression they were so busy worrying about who to offend that they offended a lot more people than they thought they would. I don't. What's your purview on that?
My thought is, now, could be looking at this too pragmatically.
Okay.
My thought is a simple statement of, we believe in people's right to free speech.
Mm-hmm.
However, the school has a rule on what we will tolerate and what we won't.
Mm-hmm.
We believe people have a right to speak their minds, but we do not believe in the genocide of any
That's right.
group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Harvard president,
Mm-hmm.
I believe she's the one who said that, I guess the pressure of all the questions and being there so long that she's saying that I guess she got fatigued a little
Okay.
and didn't respond the right way.
Okay.
But to me, if somebody asks you directly, do you allow or promote students or anybody saying that you should commit genocide? The answer is no. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never been under a hearing before for a couple hours.
Well, it can be fatiguing, but I think the Penn president, I believe, is the one that shocked me the most.
Okay.
She actually said, because I happened to be watching at the time, that the way to tell whether the speech was harmful was whether someone got hurt or not. I'm condensing and paraphrasing. And the politician who was questioning said, "Wait a minute. So it's all right to say whatever you want to say. We're not going to say anything about it. But if somebody gets hurt, then you're going to say the speech was wrong?"
That reactionary thing that Americans do, yeah.
It was so silly.
Yeah.
You know, and made me think of when I had some dealings with a college board, and the underage drinking is always an issue at colleges. So we were having a trustee meeting and we're talking about it, and there were a few of the trustees, some legal professionals, some not, who were saying that we didn't have the right to tell people what they could do on campus. And I listened. I happened to be chair at the time, and I said, I tell you what we don't want to happen is something negative get connected to one of these people's children regarding drinking, and we have no standard at all. Because what you're worried about is infringing on their ability to do something illegal, so you don't want to do anything at all. Well, I kind of managed a vote that day, and we put some stuff in place. 2 weeks later, a car full of kids come around one of the bends in the school, drunk, hit a tree outside a dormitory. Kids in the dormitory rushed out to try to help them. They watched their schoolmates burn up in the car.
Wow.
So the next time we had a trustee meeting, I went to the meeting. I walked in, and I'm like, does anybody have anything to say about, because parents were asking, the first thing they asked, do you guys have a standard? Is there a rule? Or are you just allowing the kids to do this? Well, no, they may protest that my rights are being infringed upon. But when something happens, organization can't be in a place where it doesn't have a rule.
Totally agree.
And it was the argument was so infuriating. I said, why do you have to wait till something happens to have a standard?
Right.
Now, if they're going to break the standard themselves, that's fine.
That's it.
But have one in
Have
place.
one there. What's wrong with saying, look, you have a right to support Palestine, right to support the nation of Israel, but we will not tolerate
We're not having it.
that.
We're not having it.
And at the same time, now, if I'm correct, especially at UPenn, these presidents are paid very well. And you're paid well to protect the institution. Primarily.
And
It's just is what it is.
Well, and the students are part of the institution.
And the students are part of the institution. And I wonder how Penn's going to respond now that this donor is saying, y'all got $100 million coming that might be restricted.
I heard he gave it, and he's threatening to pull it.
To pull it now.
Well, I tell you this, that president won't be worth $100 million.
That's what I'm saying. That board gonna.
Look, I've been on boards. $100 million versus you. You need to find another job.
You're gonna be replaced.
You need.
What amazes me, and I believe me, I'm trying not to be harsh here or sarcastic or whatever. I expected more intelligence from a president of an Ivy League school. In that moment. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but you know me.
It seemed like they were trying to be more politically correct. Rather than taking a stand. I actually saw it as a test of leadership. And I think all leadership comes under a test when a standard that may not be popular has to be taken. And we've had to do that even in ministry from time to time. That people are gonna they're gonna have a problem with it. But you have to have the standard.
And you got to stay in that fire.
Absolutely.
Until you're proved that it was right.
Absolutely.
Now, one of my fears is, because I believe, I know two of them are women. I'm not sure about the MIT president. Women already, and especially a black woman who's Harvard's president, already have a hard enough time justifying being in that position. And on a public spotlight, you're giving people a reason, not saying that it's right, to sit there and say that a woman shouldn't be. As a black person in this country,
they're going to use it.
As a black person, we understand we have to be better 100 times more just to validate ourselves. Our space for mistakes are very minimal.
Twice the work to make the grade, I think my mother used to say.
There you go. And like you said, some people are going to use this as a weapon.
You know what it felt like to me, Pastor Nick? It felt like an adult failing a critical care test in a relationship. That's what it felt like. Because every relationship has those critical care tests to come along. And people either pass them with flying colors or fail them horribly. But it's really a test to see what's in your heart. And see, actually, do you have a demonstrated love or do you have a theoretical love? And the testimonies and the interviews that I saw, I thought were woefully inadequate. and just didn't so intent on not being able to take a stand one way or the other. Sometimes you make a mistake doing that.
Yeah, you do. And one thing I've learned about people, and you know this, eventually when you're proven right, they'll get over it.
That's right.
And it's just, you're so concerned about,
Yeah.
the social part.
Yeah, you have to survive opinion.
Yeah.
And real leaders understand that.
Yep.
You know, and most of the time, people's criticism is from their context. And most people are not leaders responsible for other people.
Right.
So I get the pressure they were under.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, they failed a leadership test.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good. So, again, we're not talking about free speech here as much as we're talking about calling for the death of people.
That's not free speech.
That's not. You have a right to say what you want to say, but we have a right to respond based off what
Been
you
saying it for years.
Yeah.
Your free speech does not limit my right to respond.
Right.
It does not take away my right to respond to your free speech.
Right.
So you need to be ready for my reaction to your free speech.
Absolutely.
Not have a mandated response you want. But
Yeah. So I'm sure these boards and the money people, all the donors are going to have a conversation, I'm sure.
Doc, they're having it now.
I'm sure it's going to be
A lot
It's gonna be
of big donors are of the Jewish faith. And you know, you can't tell me my kid is going to come to your school and have to deal with this kind of nonsense every day.
right.
You know, I'm taking my money out of there.
Right.
The Bible says your treasure's where your heart is.
Yep. And one thing I'll give NFL owners,
Mm-hmm.
they'll let y'all talk all day long. The commissioner,
Yeah, man.
he's paid $40 million a year to take all the hits.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice he'll take every single hit.
That's what he's paid for.
He's what he's paid for. And he'll let you talk trash all you want to.
Mm-hmm.
He making $40 million a year
Absolutely.
to be the bad guy.
Because all he has to please
Is the owners.
is the strongest labor union in the world, and that's the NFL owners.
There you go.
Not the players,
Not
the
players,
owners.
not the owners.
Okay.
Your job as a school president is to please your donors, your board,
Yep.
not them students.
That's
first.
right. Well, and it's unfortunate,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember having to have conversations on boards reminding the board that the kids were the reason
Yes.
that we have a school. They're paying the tuition.
Yeah.
So the people that are paying the freight ought to have high priority, not, secondary priority. Because you might get a lot of, like Penn's, those schools,
Yeah.
they've got $1 billion in endowments.
Yeah.
So they've got money. But, people start withdrawing stuff, man. That's
Yeah.
And the kind of when I talk about I'm not sending my $10,000 this year.
Yeah. We're talking about some big.
No, you're not getting my $50 million.
Yeah.
You're not getting my $500 million. You're
Yeah.
not.
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do?
I know.
So, I was watching the news the other day, and I'm amazed, and this may get me in some trouble. It probably will. I'm amazed that they've hung this big health care sign on abortion. 9 out of 10 abortions are performed by the 12th week. Most of those are because of inconvenience, bad timing. I don't know why this whole healthcare banner is the primary way they're identifying a pro-abortion stance. Because it's not always healthcare.
It's not always.
No.
There are times where it's completely a healthcare issue.
Absolutely.
And times where it's just you just don't want to have this baby.
Yeah, but we can't call the whole thing healthcare.
Yeah, no, not the whole thing. No.
But that's what they're trying to label it.
Oh, yeah.
And aggressive about it. It's healthcare. It's healthcare. Hold it, baby. Hold it. Hold it.
Yeah.
Life threatened, some other stuff. We got it.
Yeah.
But most of the 9 out of 10, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the case in Texas, this is a life-threatening
Absolutely.
situation.
Absolutely.
I mean, you had to go. They had to go to court, and doctors had to prove.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
You know.
In
In other places, it's different. It's
healthcare, I think, is obvious.
Yeah.
But to say that every abortion settles on healthcare, I think is being a little
It's-
dishonest.
Yes, disingenuous. Yes.
Yes, disingenuous.
Yes.
That's the name. Yes. Okay.
It's exactly what it is.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267 for Evans. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you this morning. Now, a woman tried to burn down Martin Luther King's birth home?
Mm-hmm. She was pouring gasoline on the bushes, the front of the house, and right when she was getting ready to light the lighter, two plainclothes New York officers were there to visit.
Yeah.
And somebody from Utah, they nabbed her and called the police, and yeah, they had her on. Somebody was. Here's the crazy part. Now this is me. Somebody
Okay.
was recording her
Yeah.
throwing gasoline on there, right? Yeah.
Come
Now, so my question was, okay, you with the camera, I get you recording, but you're watching her do this. But that's the type of country we record.
It's ridiculous.
Getting it on camera is more important than
helping somebody or stopping a crime.
Yeah.
Because I want my little site to go viral for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I know.
Norman Lear passes away at 101.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A woman is being charged for felony corpse abuse after having a miscarriage in her own home?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah. In Ohio. But see, this is the thing where this whole abortion thing is going.
Yeah.
They're trying to lump all this on the one side. They're trying to lump everything in healthcare.
Yeah.
The other side, they're trying to lump everything into quote unquote the fetus and life.
Right.
A doctor was at the hearing and said, "Look, the child wasn't viable. It was basically already dead when she had the miscarriage.
Yeah.
She tried to plunge it because it was stuck in the toilet.
Okay.
She called, officers to come.
Sure.
And they're charging her with trying to plunge the toilet.
So she'd have left the kid in there?
I'm like, what is are y'all thinking through?
No. You're using the wrong word. Thinking can't be attached to this.
No. I'm like, come on, y'all. And this is where, like you said, the flip side is all healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
The other side is, part of me feels like they're trying to control women. Because they're lumping all these nonsensical nuances into the same. Yeah. Sorry, just go ahead. Sorry.
No, I hear you. It's amazing to me how a good decision has one or two consequences, one or two major impacts. A bad decision produces a web of consequences.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we're, one hand the Republicans were saying none at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then their compromise was 16 weeks or something stupid. It's still an abortion. Whether it's either you're for it or you're not.
Yeah.
And there are situations where, the life of the mother, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yeah.
But it's become such a political issue. There's no common sense attached to it.
None. And the crazy thing, she went to the hospital, I think, 4 times before this to let them know there's issues, and they knew there was something wrong.
They just sent her home.
And this was a miscarriage. It wasn't like she chose this. It's I don't understand these people.
It's become nonsensical.
Yeah.
So I hear that our ex-president got his business licenses revoked last week in New York.
Okay.
That's got to be a major blow for him.
Yeah.
He might try to move some of his stuff to Florida, but the federal stuff's going to follow him no matter where he goes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just we've got line 1 is lit up. You can give us a call. You are 866-743-8267. We've started talking about some things, but we're open to what you want to talk about this morning. We'd love to hear from you. 866-743-8267. We love hearing from you. So go ahead.
The crazy thing is, this is what gets me about this country now.
Okay.
When have we ever allowed anybody running for president to have this many indictments, court cases, and still be the front runner? He's not even campaigning like that and still be the front runner of a party.
It shows
Yes.
an aberration in the consciousness and what's right in our country. I just, there was a time when right and wrong were pretty clear.
Yep.
But now people are things they would not approve in their own home. They're approving of them in someone they want to lead the country. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff they wouldn't like about their neighbor. They're just saying, well, but then again, the depth of the passion of feeling pushed aside, which is really something African Americans have felt for a long time. But now non-black people are starting to feel that. And the depth of that passion is so driven, I'm willing to overlook all of that just to become what I think a superior person.
That's true. That's true. That is so true.
It's saddening to me.
It is. It is. But they talk about the whole Machiavellian thing, that how fear can get you a huge audience. It's in
Get you elected.
Yeah, appealing to people's fears, their hang-ups, all that stuff will gather crowds. It doesn't last forever.
No.
But it does give you that quick momentum jolt.
I wonder, though, how, well, I don't wonder. I know with all the gerrymandering that had been going on around the country, that was a sign to me that clearly one party feels as though they have less representation than another, so the only way to try to win at all is to cheat.
Yep.
And that to me tells me more about the party's consciousness than anything else. If you've got to start rigging districts and all these other shenanigans that the parties are playing, then you're telling me, look, we can't win by normal means. We don't have enough people supporting us to beat the majority, so we've got to make sure some of the majority can't vote anymore.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because the past two elections, they lost the public vote.
Yeah, I know. I wish they would stop putting up. Well, they don't put them up. I wish African American men would stop allowing themselves to be used as we're black friendly.
Right.
Because they come out looking foolish in almost every race, man. That Republican thing, and they throw a black guy out there, and it's all for visuals, man.
It is. Yeah, like when Obama got elected, and the Republican Party put Steele as their, like we can't see what y'all trying to do.
Well, they think you can.
Yeah, like before this, y'all didn't have.
Never would have happened.
Never.
Never would have happened.
Like, come on.
And then he didn't last long.
He didn't last long,
No.
and now he done turned on them too.
Well, yeah, he's because he knows what's really going on.
Yeah.
I just I have a difficulty because I have a lot of Republican friends. One of my oldest Republican friends died last year, and we had a lot of conversations. But even they are hesitant now about what their platform stands for.
Yeah.
Because it's not really, you don't hear a lot of policy coming out
No.
of the party anymore. In D.C., you don't hear them making strides for America. What you hear about are attacks, and we want to take away your health care, we want to take away your Social Security. And how do you tell 40 million senior citizens of voting age, 40 million people,
Who vote the most?
yes,
Yeah.
that we're going to take away your security? We're going to pull your Social Security. We're going to mess with your Medicaid.
Yeah.
We don't have a plan for you, but we're going to take your medical care away from you.
Yep.
How do you tell 40 million people that?
Yep. Hoping that they'll they'll focus on two issues: the LGBT thing, and abortion.
Yeah.
Hoping that those two will hold more weight over the things over here.
So what are they hoping to appeal to senior citizens?
Yeah.
That are going to be concerned about what they used to do when they were younger?
Right, yeah.
Come on, man.
I know. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And then throw God behind it. Because did you hear the speaker, Mike Johnson, the new guy, he was talking about God called him to be like Moses.
I didn't hear that part.
To help lead the party through
Come on.
this Red Sea experience. I think he used a Red Sea experience. And
You can't be the big Bible guy and then say on national TV, we're going to blur the faces on the film of January 6th. so innocent people don't get.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Then he repeated it.
Trying to appeal to that base.
But that's crazy.
I know it's crazy.
Wasn't he one of the guys locked in the building that day?
You know, he might have been. I don't know when he got elected. Let's look and see.
Unbelievable stuff, man.
I know. We've lost our sanity.
Who we have on line one? We don't
The
know.
TV's off. Okay.
Yeah, the screen's off, y'all. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Oh, good.
Okay.
Good morning, man. Good morning.
Good morning, Bishop. How are you?
Fine. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing better. Doing good.
Yeah?
Healing.
You doing better? Were you ill?
No, those ornaments I was making, I slipped with the knife and had to go to the emergency room.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I sliced my hand open. Big problem I had was I didn't want to bleed all over the sanctuary.
So you made them here and you cut yourself.
Yes, yeah.
So we can start talking about the blood of Phil.
The blood of Phil.
Yeah. Well, hey, Bishop, it's blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. What's
And
going
I
on?
was trying to help-
What's
I
going on
was
this
trying to
morning?
add something else to Pastor Nick's thing when he talks about time, treasure, talent. Well,
Right.
time, treasure, talent, and blood.
Yeah. Yeah. What's happening? You in Fairfax, Virginia this morning?
Yes, my nephew's getting married, so
Okay.
he came down here for the wedding.
Wonderful. I'm sure he's glad Uncle Phil is coming with the large cash gift and which will allow them to stay on the honeymoon for at least a month. So praise. What's your comment today, Phil?
My comment today is I'm thinking that Russia and Iran got together
Mm-hmm.
to support Hamas in the attack on Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take a notice over the last month or so, or actually last 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine has fallen to the back pages. They might mention it once in the news cycle for the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, Ukraine was in the news almost on a daily basis,
Every 15 minutes.
every 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So now with the attack in Israel, from Gaza, that it's all about Israel now and Gaza, what's happening there. Ukraine, you don't even hear anything about it. They did say something about it this week, but that's the first thing I've heard about it in weeks. So I think Russia says, well, we need to take the pressure off of us and put it somewhere else.
You know, that's feasible. But also, I've noticed that, the Republicans are being perceived as pro-Russian now, based upon our former president's point of view on Putin and things Russian. So it's become. There was a time, Phil, I know you remember this too. There was a time that everybody clearly understood Russia was the enemy. But that seems to have changed for one party more than the other. Would you agree?
Yeah, it reminds me of the book of 1984. There were
Yes.
3 factions.
Yes.
2 were always against the one,
Yeah.
and it was always switching. So it was us against Russia, and we were friends with China. Now it's us against China. Russia's not the problem anymore.
Yeah. I think that's all. What's that? Those games they played at carnivals, the shell game where they switch the cups around and take.
Yeah.
I think it's a political shell game to get people really not certain as to who really is on first.
Yeah, because wasn't there like a week or 2 ago some issues with the U.S. and Iran with some missile stuff? I think there was some quote unquote accidents.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
But this whole Palestinian-Israeli thing it's tragic, and our idea of trying to tell them how to defend themselves, I think we only can go so far with that. We would not entertain anybody trying to tell us how to defend ourselves. We would not do it. And we got all this conversation going on, but when it came down to us, we invaded somebody's country when we got attacked. So but our position at times gives us the impression that we can tell other folk how to defend themselves. When we're supposed to be the leaders of the free world, and all of a sudden now we don't have any money for Ukraine, what's the rest of the UN going to say? Okay, the rest of us get in trouble, and these guys going to pull out with it?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, and the other dynamic is that the way they're going in with a heavy hand to get to Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
All the civilian casualties that's creating
Mm-hmm.
are turning the surviving civilians into almost like terrorists, because the fact is that now you've done this to us. It says, okay, we want retribution for our family members or whatever.
But here's the problem, though. Everybody's trying to ignore the first hit.
Right, and I agree. The first hit, they've got to do something about the first hit. And trying to get rid of Hamas, I don't have the answer. I don't know how you do it.
You don't kill an ideology.
Yeah, you don't kill an
You can't.
ideology.
You
You
can't.
can't kill an ideology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can render the people that believe it to minimal
Yeah.
impact, but you can't erase a belief.
No. And they're patient
Yeah,
too. Look at Osama bin Laden. Just
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think I don't think there'll ever be peace in the Middle East, because you always have some faction that has some angst against somebody else.
And it's not a recent development. We're talking about hundreds of years in some cases of
Right.
conflict between people. That's why we don't understand it as much. We had our internal conflict whenever how long ago was that?
That was
Bethany?
1860 something.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we fought every other war in somebody else's country since that time.
But no, our conflict is black-white.
Yeah.
Because the fact is African Americans will always have this problem with what was the majority. There'll always be that schism. We just don't have a country, or we don't have anyone to support us like Israel has the United States to support them.
Mm-hmm. I think what's the word they use for people that are not in their own country, but they're here and they're scattered? Not disparate. It's another one.
It's
Diaspora?
Diaspora. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I noticed in my years of being alive, Phil, is that we are divided amongst ourselves because we won't allow ourselves to have different beliefs about things, but come together about the things that affect us all. Mm-hmm. If we could master that, and the division is nourished by those that don't want us to get that revelation that we can just come together around the basic things that we can all agree on. Mm-hmm. You can have whatever religion you want, but when it comes down to it, we need to have that unity, and we don't have that yet.
The only time you had something like that was during a major conflict, when they attacked Pearl Harbor, or World War II, or even most recent 9/11. Mm-hmm. People came around, they hung out the flags, and we came together as a country. It seems like the only way you come together is
crisis.
Some national tragedy.
Crisis. Yep. Crisis always brings us together for a moment.
Yep. For a moment, briefly.
For a moment.
Yeah, and then things go back.
Yep.
Good talking to you, Phil. What time is the wedding today?
3 o'clock.
Okay, 3 o'clock wedding. The reception is going to be.
Reception's at the hotel we're staying at right now.
Okay.
So I made something for the reception, so that was part of my contribution.
You made something?
It was a donut board, so
okay.
I'll have to show you a picture or something.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you. Have a safe trip back now.
Thank you. You too.
Talk to you later.
See you,
Bye-bye. 866-743-8267. That was Phil Askins, probably one of the most gifted individuals that I know. Just multi-talented, multi-gifted, precise, quality. I mean, he can just do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Line 3 is lit, but we don't know who's there yet. So I don't think there's any easy solution to the Palestine-Israeli issue. And I think it's because it's not a, we like quick fixes. Americans like quick fixes.
Yeah, it's not.
This is ideological, this is cultural, and this is historic.
Yep.
And when you have those three things involved, it does, we don't get these little neat TV wars that we would like to participate in.
And the thing that I love young people and their passion, but sometimes their passion and their ideology takes them without just no nuance. There's no.
Yeah.
My thought is this too. While you're blaming and talking about Israel, I don't like all the Palestinians that have nothing to do with this dying. But my other thing is this. Blame Hamas too.
Yes.
Because if they really cared about their people, they would stop doing what they're doing and say, look, okay, we'll ceasefire, war's over. Because
they didn't care about it.
They don't care about them.
They knew Israel was going to respond.
Yeah.
And they knew they needed to hide behind innocent people.
Yep.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's not clean at all.
Yeah.
It's dirty.
Yep.
We got Robin from Delaware. Hey, Robin, how you doing?
Well, good morning, Bishop. How are you this morning?
Doing all right. You
Robin.
sound all chipper today, Robin.
I'm tired, but I got to, hey, the joy of the Lord is my strength.
I hear you now.
Joy of the Lord is my strength.
Got Pastor Nick bobbing his head on that one.
Right.
Good morning, Pastor Nick.
morning.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Before I ask this question, Pastor Nick, when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
did baptism, I just, how can I say it? You are a true gem. I'm thankful that you're here at Bethany.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, your humor, your sense of humor, because when you did the stronghold, like when you did those two guys, I said Pastor Nick is funny, but
They were like, it had to be at least,
They were large.
they were large.
They're
One was
large.
6 something.
They're large brothers.
I was like, golly, I'm short. I'm just,
but you held your own. You held your
it's
own.
called
But
science and leverage.
That's right.
Water and leg strength.
That's right.
Most
That's
people
right.
baptize from the top.
Yeah.
I remember you said your legs is
Legs,
everything.
legs, Doc. Legs.
Legs is everything.
You can have them all.
but you are a true gem, and I'm just thankful God, brought you to us. I really am. And I love you with all my heart.
Appreciate it.
Bishop, you know how I feel. You're my spiritual father.
Absolutely.
And I always have to just say it. But regarding communion,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Wasn't it wonderful?
What can I say? But you know what it reminded me of?
What?
I don't know if you know when, similar, when Jesus was on the donkey coming through and all the people was gathering, saying Hosanna.
Yeah.
We were saying Jesus,
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. The altar visual was just amazing.
Yeah. And the wave continued on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That worship at the beginning, I think they were supposed to sing something different.
Yep.
But then it went that way.
Yeah.
It was, we're hitting that wave,
We
it's
got
normal for us.
Got the flow going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought communion was outstanding.
Yeah, it
I
was
was
something.
so blessed to be there, the last one of the year. It was just like you said, amazing at the altar. It was and just the love that you feel when you said everybody bless somebody, hug. One lady I hugged, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just started crying in her arms, but she kept holding me.
Wow.
That's the love that we have from our members
Yeah.
at Bethany.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, seriously, she didn't know me, I didn't know her, but she just held me. And I don't know what's her name really, but I thank her if she's listening. But I have a question.
I thought you wanted to get to it. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm going to get to it.
Yeah, come on.
But-
Come on around the mountain, girl. Come on.
I need this laugh in the morning. But I happened to catch The View, and Kerry Washington was on there.
Okay.
And she was talking about her father not being her father.
Yeah.
He was a sperm. She was conceived by a sperm donor.
Okay.
Now she's trying to locate the sperm donor. What do you feel? I always wanted to ask this question. What do you feel about sperm donations?
I think in some cases when people want to have children and they, I think it's not the way God intended, but I think it's a way that man has supplemented when two people are together and they want to have children and one person is not fertile, they can give them both something they don't have. Now, the complication, Robin, is this. You bring someone into a process that's extraordinarily intimate, and there's a whole lot of confidentiality supposed to be involved. You're not supposed to be able to reach out and touch anybody, and but it's not as simple as people make it sound. There's emotional ties. There's relational ties. Sometimes there's legal challenges. You know, somebody decides they suddenly want to be in a person's life, you know, that hasn't been around, and depending on where you are, and depending on how they behave, you know. But when most people, when they donate sperm or eggs, there's anonymous is a big part of that donation.
Right. She's trying to find. Yeah, she's trying to find. Because it made me think of what's the one in the Bible that took his and spread it on the ground? I can't think of that.
You talking about Genesis? Well, Onan.
In Genesis, yeah, Onan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me of that. But that's the only question I have. But Bishop, have you spoken to Pastor Ron Carpenter lately?
Not in a long time.
Okay, I sometimes get his messages, you know, clip to follow him, and he was talking about, he did a message on Turn the Other Cheek. It was like maybe a 2-minute, and he was telling how he was about to give the bird, but didn't, and the person who cut him off gave him the bird. Then he said, this is why you have to sometimes turn the other cheek. But then he was saying that 4 of his car windows was broken.
Wow.
And that's why I was wondering, I said, one of you had, talked to him to see how he's doing.
I haven't talked to him in a long time. I did see where Hope was on the cover of some magazine, but I haven't talked to Hope either in a long time.
Yeah, so I just hope everything's okay with him. So.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. Oh, Pastor Nick, you wasn't there when I had asked what was the message that Bishop did on TBN in 2004. I don't know if you can find out. I meant to ask Crystal. Because it's either July or August. And that's the message that brought me to Bethany. I'm curious to see what that message was.
It was on TBN. I wouldn't. That 2004. I have struggles remembering 2 weeks ago sometimes.
I know.
I mean, I have a good memory, but it's changing.
There's no need of asking me.
Right.
No need of asking me.
Yeah, so maybe I have the DVD in my collection. I need to see.
Because y'all would tape stuff like well in advance, and then it would air in series over a couple of weeks, right? I've only preached a few times on TBN.
It was July or August of 2004.
Was it the TV show, or was it like one of the Praise the Lord, like live ones?
I can't remember.
If it was a clip of him preaching here, that wasn't the Praise the Lord.
It might have been one of those broadcasts from either California, Houston, Texas, or Miami, Florida.
Yeah, it was. He wasn't at the church. I do know that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
All right, that's all I have, guys. So
good talking to you.
Love you guys. Y'all have a blessed, safe day.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 866-743-8267. I believe it should be time for coming up on a break. Do we have anything? I heard an exclamation from on high.
Right.
I have heard from on high, but I'm not sure it wasn't audible.
Text me, Crystal. So we're good.
She said yes?
Yes, we're good. Yeah.
We're coming up on a break. This is On Point, and we will be right back.
Jesus said, "This is the first and greatest commandment. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it. Love others as you love yourself." So the question is, do you love? I mean, do you really live the definition of love? Are you patient? Are you kind? Do you celebrate in the blessings of others? Are you humble? Have you died to self? Are you slow to anger? Do you keep no record of wrongs? Do you always protect? Always trust? Always hope? Always persevere? This is what it means to love, the way God intended. So the question remains, do you love?
Wow. We're back. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans, the #1. So glad you've joined us. You can give us a call. Danny from Florida is on the line. We have a few lines open. We'd love to speak with you this morning. Let's go to Danny. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Hey.
Good morning, Bishop, Pastor Nick.
Good morning.
How y'all doing today?
We're doing great, man. Good to hear from you. What's
yeah.
what's going on in sunny or rainy or chilly Florida? What's going on?
Well, we went down to 52 last week.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even the people on TV had boots on.
52. That's
Yeah.
almost spring up here.
Right. Were the lizards falling out of the trees?
Yep.
They were?
Yeah. Pastor Nick is right on it. They like freeze up. You know, I've been looking around. I haven't seen them. And the ones that you do see, they're traumatized. You know.
They're staggering down the sidewalk.
No, they're not even moving.
Oh, poor
They're
guys.
like in a trance. You know.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
A cold coma.
Right.
Yeah, and as I told you before, all of a sudden now, crocodiles are reappearing now.
Really?
Not only do we have alligators now, we're dealing with the crocodiles.
Well, where'd the crocs come from?
They've always been there. You know, the thing about it is that crocodiles, they like the salt water or the brackish water, you know, half and half. You know, they like that type of environment. So they've been going up and down the canals, and you know, it's kind of food for thought. You know, think that they're coming back. You know, no matter what you do, they're there.
Now, when you say coming back, at some point they pushed them into the Everglades or something?
Well, what happened is that you know the environment in Florida. You have the coastal, and then you have the inland, which is the Everglades. Everglades mainly alligators.
Right.
On the coast, you have the crocs.
That's the Gulf Coast, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, the Atlantic coast.
Really?
Have you? Yeah. And what happened there? The beaches were developed, and what have you. So they had taken away the environment that they had. So they had nothing left. There's a few places that was in Broward County that had crocs that were still there, but they had a way of being evasive from mankind and what have you.
Okay.
So now, all of a sudden, they're like coming back.
So at some point, the crocs developed the capacity. I saw a documentary on this, and I'm not going to articulate it as accurately as I would like to. But at some point, the crocs that were hanging out on the Atlantic coast side, their bodies adapted to either salt or fresh water. So they learned how to survive in both, right?
That's correct.
All right, so you're going swimming at Miami Beach, and now you don't just have to look out for sharks, you got to look out for crocs?
Yeah, they don't want to put it out there, but that's what's happening. You know, they're coming back to man. They're not running away from man. They're coming to man.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. So you're not going to the beach anytime soon, right?
Oh, I'm always.
Lay there and look.
Yeah, just do some sunbathing, brother. Stay out the water. Because they get hungry enough, they'll come up on land, you know.
Yeah, man.
No, you have to worry more about the sharks than them right now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, I saw that lady in the Bahamas, a shark attack.
yeah,
What happened?
They're she was out jet skiing or something in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And a shark got her out there. Yeah. They're coming closer
Came up and got her?
Yeah. I think what they're saying is that because of the water temperature change, a lot of them are coming closer to the shore because it's warmer or something like that. I can't explain it right.
Yes.
But
I remember when we went to Australia the first time. And the day before, when we got there was all these shark alerts. And the reason there were shark alerts were because this family, they were out in their boat. Son was behind the boat, water skiing. And of course, they're ripping through the water. And all of a sudden, they see this fin come up. And came up, snatched the boy off, snatched the skis, him, and everything else. Took him away, and they never saw him again.
jeez.
It was like out of a movie, man. And then when we were there, they literally had helicopters and everything over the beaches and all. But I'm like, I'm not going in the water.
Nope. I'm good. I'm good. Look, when when they going down, they got the jellyfish sign up. I ain't going in there, and people still going out in the water. I'm like, I'm good. And I mean, and you see somebody, they're nursing the person because just got stung, and people still in the water. I'm like, are y'all crazy? You got to get in that bad?
Americans just don't get it.
Like, come on, y'all.
They just don't get it.
Like, it ain't gonna be me till it's you.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
But what I call about, gentlemen,
Sorry.
is that the situation that we have with the guns, this coming back again. We had another incident this week.
Okay.
And what's happening here in Florida is that kids are being injured. This week we had another incident where a little infant was shot in the head. Again.
Huh?
Yes, where their siblings found the gun, and naturally they're playing with the gun.
And killed the
gun
baby?
went off. Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
yes,
no.
It's not the first time.
Maya, hello.
Let's look at her eyes after this.
Yeah,
that's
right. That's right. No, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
A baby.
Yes.
That happens a lot too. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But when
Not locking your gun up. Yeah.
But when does it stop? I mean, we had it on a college campus again.
Obviously, and this pains me to say this, obviously the value of human life in the eyes and the minds of those who could legislate some gun control in our country is much less than the money they're receiving from the NRA and people that support these kinds of things. It's just, I've been saying it for years. When it didn't change at that Connecticut shooting with those elementary school kids, I knew we were in trouble.
Yep. And recently there have been some people walking around with like assault rifles, just walking around. People call the police, and the police say there's nothing we can do because they're legally allowed. They're walking past schools, libraries, and this is what y'all wanted. Not saying everybody in the state wanted it, but you're allowing this so people can just walk with a.
It doesn't make sense. You can't sell drugs within 100 yards of a school, but you can carry an automatic weapon right in the front door.
Right, I know.
Come on, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And the police are not eager to approach them.
Well, they're outgunned sometime, aren't they?
Exactly.
I don't get it. Obviously, a shooting a day is not enough inspiration to change the rules.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going to happen. We know politicians getting shot is not enough. We know children's getting shot is not enough.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm pro-gun, but you got to have rules. You can't have less rules for owning a gun than you do for driving a car.
Yep.
At least you still got to take a test.
Yep.
Drive a car. Like, come on, man. Unbelievable, Dan.
Yep.
Unbelievable, Danny. And you guys got open carry down there, right?
Yep.
So that means you go to the grocery store and see people visibly carrying a gun?
No one is approaching anyone, and the sad part about it is the incidents that are happening on the roadway.
I know you've said before people are shooting at each other because of traffic infractions.
Don't cut anyone off. Don't stand there. Don't pull off right away. You know, it's just crazy. And
the politicians in your state don't see anything wrong with that. And
they don't open their mouths. They don't say nothing. The person that causes the incident or the infraction, they just speed off. They don't stop. They don't hang around. They're gone.
So they're shooting each other and then escaping?
Just leave. Wild West.
Come on, Danny. Yeah. Come on.
No, it's true. Yeah.
They saddle up the horse and leave town?
Just leave. Yeah.
Come on, Danny, man. This is a Christian-based call-in talk show, man. You can't be fooling me like this, man. Come on.
No, I'm serious. The thing about it is that it's sad. It's sad. In Pastor Nick, if I'm gonna send you some information about the deaths every day.
Okay.
Gun violence every day. South Florida, period. If there's not 3, there's 4
Wow.
per day.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, we see right over here in Philly, 15 minutes from us.
And they don't have open carry over there, do they?
Nope. Well, no, I mean, you can own a gun. Yeah, Philly gun laws are different than Jersey, but I don't know if it's open.
I don't think it's open carry.
Yeah.
I think you can have one.
Pennsylvania.
So I know a couple of our pastors have them.
Yeah. Oops.
You know, but then they have to take them apart and put them in the trunk before they come over here.
Yeah, because you get arrested in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Danny, thank you, man. We're getting ready to go off here in about 4 minutes. Tell my sister I said hello.
We'll do, Bishop.
And I'm going to get her shoe size and send her a pair of boots. I'll talk to you, man.
Okay, Bishop.
Bye-bye.
All right.
man.
Thank you.
Now, tomorrow's coming up, Sunday. Our 8 a.m., our virtual service. 11 a.m., our in-person live worship service. You do not want to miss it. We're no longer requiring COVID vaccinations to attend service. We are wearing our masks. Noonday on Wednesday and 7 p.m. on Wednesday, you don't want to miss. If you work in the evening on Wednesdays, you've gotten a little older, you don't like driving at night, you can come to our noonday Bible study, our noonday encounter on Wednesday at 12 noon. Of course, our traditional Bible study is at 7 p.m. Our Christmas drive is underway. We're asking all of you who will either donate funds so we can buy new unwrapped toys, new hats, gloves, and scarves for the kids at Christmas, or you can simply bring those things to the church. There's some bins in either lobby, and you can drop them off there, and we'll make sure they get to the children. We will pray over these items at Bible study, I believe this week, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, so you want to bring them in. If you don't want to go shopping yourself, go on our site at BBC of NJ, look for CTF, that's Catch the Fire, and we'll purchase the items for you. If you're interested in receiving news updates, you can text BBC News to 28950. If you're interested in inspirational messages throughout the week, I really love those now that I stumbled on,
how to do it.
How to do it, yeah. And you can get the inspirational messages at BBC Elevate to 28950. As always, we love praying with you. Send your prayer requests to social at go2bethany.com. And always subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube. Also, you want to subscribe to our DGEMS and OnPointe podcast platforms. As always, we look forward to seeing you in worship tomorrow. I want you, I'm tired today. Pastor Nick Smith, I'm Bishop Dave G. Evans. Now remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and we'll see you real soon.